Got to go to somebody else. Mayfield pulls it down now on the run. They're going to make it to the end zone for the touchdown. One now. Jump. Running room to the 10, the 5, touchdown. Third down, Hunt breaks a tackle and he's got a first down. Here's still on his feet. Kareem Hunt racing towards the end zone and he's in. Surround your hands quickly. Third and goal. To the end zone. It's caught by it.
Welcome, everybody, to the DAWGS Podcast. I'm your co-host, Clarence Wilson, and with me, as always, my main man, Double R, Ruben Rodriguez. What's shaking, bro?
What's going on, Clarence? Boy, do we got a lot for these people today, man. Starting to get close to the finish line with all this stuff we've been holding back considerably with everything that's going on, but I think it's time, brother.
It's time. We're gonna get right into it. This Deshaun Watson situation is blowing up. We all knew what he was accused of. Now we have a 24th accuser. There's stories coming out about how the Texans provided rooms and areas for him to get massaged in. I'll put it this way. We ran a poll yesterday on the Den of the Dogs Twitter page. First question was, do you think it's time to settle? It was 58% yes, 42% no. Second question was, are people starting to have buyer's remorse? 47% yes, 35% no, 19% said they were kind of in between. I'll just be honest. I did not think that when we finally got our franchise quarterback for the second time, because I thought we had one, but clearly the Browns did not think that he was it. So now we got it for the second time. And we are in the middle of a shitstorm. There is a good chance that this man might not play this season. And who knows? Who knows beyond that? Bringing him here has caused nothing but division with the fan base. We are now on par with the Steelers for having a quarterback with troubles, I will say. But then bringing him here, not only did they bring it on the franchise, but they brought it on the fan base. Because now some people are out here trying to defend what's going on. Some people are highly upset, which I'm not particularly pleased with anything that I've been hearing. And this season, there's no excitement for this season right now. There's none. It is all trepidation because everybody's worried about what's going to come down, and people are conflicted because if this person that is supposed to come in and save our franchise did all these things that he is alleged to have done, I don't want him on my football team. I don't want him represent. I don't want him as the quarterback. Would you agree, Ruben? The quarterback is the face of the franchise, right?
Of course.
So is this what we want to be the face of our franchise?
It's gotten to, this is the part of the season where we just should be talking about, every other team they're talking about ball. And you had mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. We got this cloud. That's a forever black cloud. It's going to stay here. Now it's gotten into a different dimension that I don't even think the organization knew was going to happen. They said they did their due diligence. You disagree. I'm starting to. There's a story that came out. That's just the stuff that came out today. There is no way that this team knew that what we heard today, they knew about before they made this decision. Again, this is purely, I don't know who or what's going to happen. Nobody does, but this is purely me. I don't think this gentleman will ever play another down in the NFL again. Come at me if you want to, telling me I'm full of baloney, full of garbage, or full of something, but the league has to do something to save face. They can't let this go. They just can't do it. We finished our investigation, but they finished the investigation, but there's no criminal charges. So if there's no criminal charges, he didn't do anything. Well, first of all, and I'm just speaking about the base here, the fan base here. You didn't give two craps about the Watson situation while he was in Houston. I didn't even think about it. But now you do, because he's got your colors on. So now he's 2 games. He can do 2 games. Come on. This is a black eye, that the biggest black eye that can possibly be. This organization doesn't know how to back out of this. They don't know how they're going to explain their way out of this if the inevitable happens. And when the inevitable happens, I'm not going to say if, it's when. They set this franchise back probably 8 to 10 years by doing this. Now, if this guy doesn't play down here in the city at all, never mind the contract, never mind all the guarantees and all this other crap. He's still going to get his money and all. If he's suspended, he probably won't. The only thing he'll get to keep will be his signing bonus, because everything else will be taken away because of the suspension, whether it's 1 year, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. But I think the realization throughout Berea is that what the hell did we do here, man? It's going to set us back. I'm thinking it's going to set them back years. This is going to be something now, because you aren't going to have any draft picks for a while. I don't think they can void this contract. I don't think that there's probably a stipulation in the contract that no matter what happens, it's still guaranteed, or it would be the word guarantee. There may not be a codicil in there that voids anything, and they're going to be stuck. My question is, what do the Haslams, how fast does Jimmy Haslam do when he finds, because Clarence, I can't fathom Jimmy, or for that matter, D. Forget about Jimmy. D. Haslam, his wife. Her knowing what we heard today, that 66 women total in 17 months, that the Houston Texans are actually financing the places for him to take these women or to set up these appointments. Forget about Jimmy. If D knew this prior to this happening, do you honestly sit there and believe that they were going to put their stamp on this? Knowing her more than we know Jimmy, as far as she's an advocate for everything that she's an advocate for, they would never agree to anything like this, which then leads me to believe, what kind of due diligence did you really do? If a reporter in New York got all this dirt in the matter of 2 days after the investigation stopped, all of a sudden now this is the stuff that's coming out from the NFL investigation. What kind of due diligence did you do if you didn't know this already? I mean, it just doesn't, it's just, was it that necessary for you to get this guy that you just totally, I mean, I'm flabbergasted how you totally turned this franchise back to the days when they first got in the league? It's going to be that way. Yeah, you got a bunch of players, but the funk that's on this team, you're never going to get rid of it. You're not going to get rid of it. This is just, it's mind-boggling to me how guys, and these aren't guys that went to, and I don't want to belittle anybody that goes to school, but these are Harvard graduates, man, that are making this. Who the hell makes a decision like this? I mean, and to a rabid as a fan base as you have here in Cleveland, and I'm saying this because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what decisions have already been made, if any. But I'm just speculating here. So are you? But this doesn't look good, man. This is every single day. It's like, oh crap!
It's worse.
Even the people that are saying 4 games and he'll appeal it down to 2 are now saying, well, maybe 2 years he'll appeal it down to 1. So everybody's starting to figure out just how serious this is. Meanwhile, and I got to say it, meanwhile, there's another gentleman whose name we tried to avoid putting on the podcast for obvious reason, who did absolutely nothing but bite the bullet for this team. And he's sitting back. What's he doing? He's not coming back here.
Nope.
Forget all the noise and forget about how everybody feels he was treated or how bad. Forget all about it. Would you want to come back to this mess?
Hell no.
No, absolutely not. This is unprecedented. This is something we're never going to probably, I don't know, I can't say never, but you've had guys in the past that got suspensions for doing less than this, but it's just, I don't know, man. There's no words to say, to think of how people that are smart, that are genius, I don't say geniuses, but they know what can do something like this. I don't understand it. Again, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say to that. I mean, I can swear and curse and I don't know it. They thought that they thought this was going to just be a slap on the wrist, I guess. I don't know. It's just turning into something that they never imagined would happen, and they have no answer for it, Clarence. They don't know what to tell us. Everything is a fluid situation. They don't know how to explain their way out of this, man, and it could cost everybody their jobs there in Berea.
See, here's where I'm at. This kind of goes back to our point about due diligence. So they either A, did due diligence and decided that everything that they heard is okay. Because I've heard reports that the Browns and the NFL were aware of this newest accuser. I don't know how true that is, but I've heard reports of that. I believe it was a former Texans reporter that stated that the Browns and the NFL were aware of this. So they either did their due diligence and they saw this and said, screw it, we're going to run with this guy anyway, or they didn't do their due diligence and all this stuff is coming out and now it's time. Yeah, basically, yeah. Now what do we do? Like
How could you, if you're doing your due diligence, Clarence, are you talking about guys that are known around the league? You're sitting here and trying to tell me that, okay, they did their due diligence, so they knew when they were going after this guy that the Texans had rented rooms for him.
Mm-hmm.
Texans had already had non-disclosure forms already for whoever, and the Browns didn't know about. They knew about this, right? And they did this anyway.
And did it anyway.
Is what you're saying.
They either did that, or they
didn't know.
Yeah.
Or because they knew the Houston Texans, the team that was trying to get rid of this guy, was enabling, for the lack of a better term, everything he was doing. They were given non-disclosure forms to the masseuses to sign prior to him showing up. Again, I'm going to repeat this. Either they're naive or they're dumb enough not to know this or find out, or they knew and just didn't care.
Exactly. That's a problem. Either way is a problem.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. But again, you step in horse crap and your shoes are going to smell, man. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. And now we as the fans, instead of sitting here talking about OTAs that started today and they're practicing over at the Hall of Fame, there's none of that. You go on the.
I had to look again before we started to make sure that OTAs even started today.
Because there's nothing out there.
About it.
No,
nothing about it.
They're practicing at the next to the Hall of Fame. They're supposed to go visit the Hall of Fame, and then they got to practice on Thursday at the stadium. And it's nothing. It's like ninth page. If there was a newspaper out there that's 9 pages long anymore, it would be on the last page.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't matter. again, that cloud, and you mentioned it, there's a cloud over this team now that's not going to go away anytime soon. And it's just going to keep lingering, because now, what if something, even if they void the contract, like you mentioned, they're not going to get those draft picks back.
Yep.
They may get the draft picks back, but the draft is over.
Well, no. From everything I've read, they void the contract. They void the contract, but we get not. It's not. They don't void the trade. They just void the contract. So we don't get anything back. So we gave up 3
That makes
firsts.
sense. Yeah, it's not like, oh, okay. So forget. I guess what I'm thinking is, okay, so my bad. Forget about the trade and give us our guys back and give us a no. That's not going to happen.
No. We're so they've put the franchise and the fan base in a situation where we don't know what the hell's going on.
Mm-hmm.
News is coming out every day. We're not sure if they knew about some of the stuff that has come out, that has come to light.
I can't see that. I can't see that being true. I can't see that. I cannot see that being true based on the last couple of years, the way these guys do business and how proactive they are and how smart they are. You can't sit here and tell me that they did not know about any of this that came out today, but went ahead and did this anyway.
I'm thinking the same thing, but I also, and this is not to knock Barry and DePodesta, they all seem like they're smart guys. They seem like they know what they're doing. They're much better than any front office that we've had since '99.
Mm-hmm.
But this also goes back for me to when they started even going after Watson.
Mm-hmm.
About the way that they handled the situation didn't seem to be the best idea, or the best. They didn't handle it in the best way. It was way too public.
Yeah.
There didn't seem to be a plan to offload the incumbent quarterback.
Yeah.
So it just makes me wonder, like, it almost makes me think that this was not a move done by Barry and the front office. This almost seems like this was something pushed by Jimmy.
Well,
because he's tired of losing, and they had a chance to go out and get a true bona fide star quarterback, and it's almost like they were going to do it at any cost.
Mm-hmm.
At any cost.
I could see Jimmy pushing this. I really can. Clarence, I agree with you. He's an owner. He's on the cusp, and he says, I can try to get this guy. So I'm going to make my decision based on what you guys can find for me. Do the work. He didn't do his due diligence. He has people to do that for him. Mm-hmm. It probably started at the beginning of last year. You guys can go out and find me a reason for me to go after this guy. Okay. They come back with their findings. I think we can get this done. Okay. Perfect. I can't believe that if they would have came to him, and especially his wife, who has a piece of this team, and said, 60, listen, I don't care. Take away from the equation anything nasty or anything vile happening here. The fact that you have 66 massage therapists in 17 months, that's weird no matter what happened.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, even if something happened, no matter what the hell happened, that should be a red flag. There's something wrong with this dude. Or anybody, not just him. There's got to be some kind of a red flag. And somebody had to know, because if you're doing your due diligence, you're digging into the Houston Texans organization too, Clarence. If you're doing your due diligence, and you can't sit there and tell me that nobody, while they were doing their due diligence, it could tell them or show them proof that they were enabling this guy. They could not find that information. I don't believe that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Not for 1 second. So, he could have been pussy. Yeah, everybody, the owner's going to push to try to get their guy. But what were they bringing him? What were they telling? What when they were out there searching for whatever proof they wanted, or what were they really coming back and telling him?
And that's a problem. We have no idea. They could have came back and said, yeah, we found a million of these things. We found all this information out. And this is where I come back to this final decision being possibly Jimmy's, is, you know what, maybe they did find out all this stuff and they went back to him and they said, you know what, this is what we think, this is what we found out, this is what we think. Maybe this isn't as bad as we think it is. Maybe he's only going to get suspended for this amount of time, blah, blah, blah. We don't know. All we know is that they made a move that is looking it looks awful right now.
It is. There's no turning back either, man. I mean,
no, we're here.
There's nothing on these in his contract. Excuse me. There's nothing in his contract that gives him an out. They wanted him so bad that hell, he even chose not to come here. Then all of a sudden, overnight, something they had to tell him there's going to be no trade clauses. There's going to be this is fully guaranteed. They're stuck, man.
Yeah.
For any of these Twitter lawyers and Facebook lawyers and all these know-it-alls in there, they're saying, but they'll find a way out of it because he wears brown and orange. So that can't happen. Now he's a star. We don't have Baker. I mean, he's replacing somebody that we had to get rid of. Well, what? Take it for what it's worth, man. You got your guy now. And then you got another kid that I wish, and I said this, about 10 pods ago, that I thought Baker could just be the bigger person and say, you know what? I got 1 year left in my contract. Regardless, I'm going to go out there and ball. I'm going to show up. And I'm on a contract year because he would be in a contract year. I'm just gonna show up and do my thing because I'm under contract. It's a professional thing to do. Let bygones be bygones. But hey, listen, this is evident as hell that Stefanski just can't stand the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Just doesn't like him. He's not going to be here.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, just get that out of your minds. There's not even 1% of a chance that man's going to come back here. That what they're doing is and check this out. And they're counting on Mayfield not showing up next week for the week after, is it? The 15th, mm-hmm. for the mandatory mini camp. Because if he does, although he's not getting paid yet, because the players don't get paid till the season starts. Although he's not getting paid yet, by him not showing up for the mandatory mini camp, he's voiding all of his guarantees. That's what they're counting on, is for the kid not to show up so then they can dump him and not have to take an $18 million cap hit. That's how far this relationship has gone.
Yeah.
To a kid that hasn't assaulted anybody. He hasn't done anything close to what this guy did. All he did, he made a few mistakes. He didn't play well in some games, but he went out there every single game until the last one and balled his ass off. And this is the respect that he gets. This is the thanks that he gets. So you expect somebody like that to come back here?
Hell no.
No, absolutely not.
And you want to know what the worst part, one of the worst parts about this Watson situation? This is just me straight up as a Browns fan. We've said it a million times. You said it, I said it. We wanted the kid in 2017. They could have avoided this entire thing by running it back with 6. People might not like that, but they could have avoided this entire thing.
Didn't like it. Don't buy the tickets.
Yeah.
Don't go.
And here's even the crazier part is that, you know what, Browns fans are getting trashed on. The franchise is getting trashed on.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet you half the damn league would have traded for this kid if they could have.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you best believe if what I'm saying is right and he doesn't show up, they have to have something that's been unwritten, unsaid, some kind of an agreement that not with Baker but with his people saying, listen, it's best that he stay away. It'll be cool. We'll continue paying him. We just don't need all the crap right now. So it's best he stay away. I'm hoping that's what the team said to him.
I bet you they did. I feel like
Yeah. I'm hoping that's what they said.
they've got a plate full of dog shit. Why do they want to have some horse shit on top of it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, don't do the kid. It just you got other things to worry about right now than this. Then all of a sudden, Baker Mayfield knocking on your front door on Wednesday of next week, and you got to let him in because that puts another stain in your drawers, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm just hoping they did what they did with was that
Jimmy G.
Yeah. And say you're excused. You don't have to be here. Look at Debo. Debo's demanding to get traded. All of a sudden, his agent says, you better think about this, man, because if you miss one day of training camp for the 49ers, which started today, their mandatory mini camp, if you miss even 1 second, that guarantee you got is gone. You show Mayfield has every right to do the same thing unless they called him and said, we don't need you here. We don't need the distraction. We got enough of a distraction. We don't need you popping off in here. Just stay there. We'll pay you. Your contract still remains the same. We're not going to change anything. We can't pay him because they're not getting paid yet. But you know what I mean? Your guarantees are still there. It's just this will be an excused absence for you. I'm hoping that they did that to the kid. That's the least they can do for him until they can find a way to either make a trade or, like you said, wait for somebody to get hurt where they can trade him to somebody. But I just hope that they stop just messing with this kid already, just leave him be. And they got this problem they got to worry about.
Yeah, and this problem is not going away. Like I said, the trepidation that is, and for people that don't know what that means, look it up. Trepidation that's over this franchise right now is just it's stifling. Like we're just waiting. We're just waiting for the NFL to come out and say whatever punishment's going to be. And the longer it goes on, the more comes out, and the longer, in my mind, I think it's going to be. Now he's going to appeal whatever it is. We know this. He's going to appeal.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't really compare the two, but they hit Trevor Bauer with a 2-year suspension.
And people say, "Oh, it's not the same sport. It's not dude. It's the same." I don't know what's
it's the same PR machine. They're trying to look good.
It's the same illness, if you want to call it that, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's the same crap.
Yeah.
The uniform on a different ball.
Yeah, the Major League Baseball is about PR, just like the NFL. The NFL even more so because it is number one in America.
Not only that, it's only 16 weeks long. So they got to keep their image, and that's the problem here. That's why the NFL has to do. I don't know, say that there's this word due diligence again, but they have to do what they have to do because their butts are on the line now. Now people are going to say, listen, you got this all the way, all of a sudden jump from 22 to 66. And he's been doing this for a lot longer than you thought he was. And you just went ahead and suspended a kid for gambling 1,500 bones, and you suspended him for a year. And you tell me that this kid doesn't deserve more than the gambler?
Yep. Exactly.
I mean, come on. People, you have to have common sense to think about this is not going to go good for him. And now you drag this whole city, you drag this whole fan base right along with you. Because now we got to root for Jacoby Brissett because of something you did. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say here is they deserve whatever happens with all of this, man. And if it blows up and just explodes in their face, right? They asked for all of this, man.
They asked for it. I love the Browns with all my damn heart.
You too. They asked for it. They asked for it.
They asked for this. By signing this man, they asked for everything that they get.
Yeah. They asked for all of it. They knew it. Again, you can't get a straight answer from them, and I don't think you will because they also have that buffer that we're going to wait till the investigation's over with. And think about this, though. Remember a couple months ago when the NFL said, well, we saw all these reports about Well, since none of the civil cases are going to be done until 2023, then this is probably a non-story until 2023. And look how fast this turned around.
Yeah.
All right. So, I don't know. I think it's time for maybe Cleveland to start doing their own thing now. And I don't know, maybe talk to one or two of these people, these ladies. Talk to a few, maybe one, talk to one of them and see, have they done that?
It's too late.
Uh,
It's too late.
I mean, I'm being sarcastic, but it doesn't seem to me like, what's going on here. They got enough information, man. I mean, they just didn't. In the world of fact checking, they didn't check shit. In my estimation, they didn't check anything. They just, I mean, here's the blinders. They didn't see peripherally. They just looked straight ahead and said, "We got to get this kid."
Well, here's the biggest problem, Double R, is that they either didn't check shit or they did and didn't give a damn.
Didn't give a damn and didn't care. It's one or the other. It's one or the other. I don't care how fluid, whatever. That's Stefanski's favorite word. This whole situation is fluid. Fluid this. You made a mistake, man, one way or the other. Either you knew and you didn't care, or you didn't care enough to know and find out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like I just said, if anything happens, if the whole football team explodes, they ask for every bit of this, man.
Yeah, man. I'm just waiting for the day where I get up out of bed and start my work day, and the news comes down the pipeline that there's a big suspension coming, and it's not. And then this franchise is screwed for not only this season, but
seasons to come.
Yep, and seasons to come down the line. So
then you're talking about guys that are in their contract years. You're going to waste another Chubb Garrett year. You got guys now that are not core members, but guys that are pretty good that are going to be leaving after this year, and it just starts all over again, man. You're going to wish you had Tim Couch playing quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, partner, we're just about on it, man. So
that's right.
I'll see you next week. I'm off to better places, bigger places. I got a weekend of fun coming, and I'll be in Florida for a little bit. So,
right.
Yeah, we'll be back at you hopefully with some better news next week, folks. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned, man. Hey, and if something happens while I'm away, jump on here, man. I'll be with you in spirit.
That's right. That's right. We just stay tuned to Believe in Media for the breaking Browns news and all your Cleveland sports and national sports coverage. We're doing it big here. Next time we'll try and be a little bit more positive, but this is something that if you've listened to us, you know that we've avoided the Watson concert, the Watson stuff. We've avoided the Baker stuff, but there are times when we feel like we need to come out.
It's got to come out, man. We had to, you got to. It's just that some of it doesn't make any sense. There's no rhyme to the reason, and again, we don't know how. We do know that this is not going to end well. We'll just have to see what happens, man. Take us home, partner.
Well, you guys know, even with all the clouds and fluster and everything, bluster that's around this franchise, y'all know, if you don't wear brown and orange, you don't matter. Peace.
Peace, folks. Take care.